What's up everybody, Actus XD here, and today we are looking at the new big announcement from the New World developers, which is the public test realm being announced. Before we get into the nitty gritty details of what's happening on the test realm, I just want to take a quick second to look at this post by Luxendra talking about the weekly patch. Basically what this post is saying is that the PTR is going up today on the Wednesday the 10th of November, and they are sort of hard focusing the test realm for this week. They do have some fixes planned for a weekly patch, and they're going to be validated at some point between now and tomorrow. And if they pass validation, then potentially there might be news on a weekly update tomorrow at 7 a.m. in my local time zone. But that's not necessarily their main priority, and they are focusing on the public test realm. So we may or may not see a bug fix weekly iterative patch, depending on how they go in their validation, but we are going to see a public test realm go up very shortly. Let's get into the exciting part of the announcement, which is the public test realm and what they've got planned for it. So that's in a big post that they've done on a news article, which I will link down below. Basically, they're going to launch it, and it will be in your Steam library, available to be downloaded. If you intend on jumping into the public test realm, then the line here, by the end of today, everyone with a copy of New World will find the New World public test realm application in their Steam library. So if you want to get it, then keep an eye on your Steam library and start the download as soon as you see it pop up. PTR servers will officially open tomorrow, November 10 at 12 p.m. Pacific time. What are the PTR servers going to bring? Well, excitingly, hundreds of changes have been made, and the full release notes will be shared on release day. Aside from the big announcements that we'll cover in a minute, it seems like we're going to get quite a few smaller changes, which hopefully will cover off some of the stuff that have been irking the player base for a while. It was way too weird talking without looking at you. I felt really strange, so sorry, but you're just going to have to put up with my ugly bald head. What are the changes that we're getting in the PTR? Well, I guess most excitingly, a new weapon, the Void Gauntlet. I don't want to just go through and read this because you guys can do it yourself. So basically, the long and the short of it is that the Void Gauntlet is a DPS support hybrid weapon, and it scales off int and focus, which means that finally Lifestaff users are going to have something other than gems to be able to do damage with and not feel like those focus points are just sort of hamstringing them a little bit, other than the 40% damage conversion. So there are two trees on the Void Blade, as there are with all weapons. The first is the Annihilation Tree, and that's maximizing damage at close range, and it sounds like the Void Gauntlet is going to have a Void Blade of corrosive void energy, which I reckon sounds pretty cool. And then the other tree is going to be the Decay Tree, which is more of the support role, I'm guessing, no, I'm not guessing, they actually say, and it's going to have a projectile that can debuff enemies and heal allies. It calls it a dual phase projectile, so I'm presuming it's one thing that you shoot and it goes off, and if it's an enemy it debuffs, if it's an ally it heals. So that's pretty cool. I'm excited to give that a crack. This one's a bit of an interesting one. There's a new enemy type, the Varangian Raiders. I'm always going to want to say Varangian Rangers because that just flows off the tongue so much better, but Varangian Raiders, that's the pronunciation I'm sticking with. They are going to be in a number of areas in First Light, Monarch's Bluff, and Everfall, and they are level 16 to 20. So interesting that we've seen complaints about sort of mob variety and the lack thereof, and also endgame content, and that the first mob type that Amazon are putting into the game isn't a new endgame mob type. I don't know, obviously we'll see these mobs scale up and they'll come into endgame content, presumably. Maybe they're starting low to get a bit of an idea of how they play and damage they do, that kind of thing, before they move them into the more intense areas. But I thought it was a bit strange that we weren't seeing them in the 50 to 65 level bracket in the first place. Also excitingly, and that's something that I see a lot of new players or prospective New World players complaining about, is a lack of enemy variety. We've got a heap more of enemy types: Withered Swarmancer, Beetle of the Lost Shaman, Pirate Alligator, that's the one I'm most excited for by far, Ancient Guardian Pyromancer, and Enhanced Corrupted Labradors. No, they're Corrupted Laborers, but I don't know. So that's exciting. They're bringing unique combat encounters to our lower level open world experience. Again, I don't know why we're not seeing these at the higher level too, but they're putting them down at the lower levels. So go create an alt if you want to experience them in a game that's not designed for alts. They'll come to the end game later, all right? Stop panicking. Hi guys, I'm over here now. Just very quickly, if you are enjoying this video, then I would really encourage you to smash that like button. It does me the world of good. It just absolutely means the entire world to me. If you would consider subscribing, again, I would be incredibly grateful, and I can keep doing high quality artwork for you like this if that's something you're interested in. If it's not, and you don't want to see any more, then subscribe and let me know. Either way, subscribe and hit the like button. Thank you, love you. New legendary weapon quests. I really have difficulty speaking. Would you believe I'm a professional communicator? You probably wouldn't. Alongside the release of the Void Gauntlet, they're releasing a new legendary weapon quest series. Surprise, surprise, it is for the Void Gauntlet. So that's good. I suppose it remains to be seen whether it's a good 580 legendary epic weapon or not, because there are some really good ones and some really not so good ones. My nose is really itchy. What an unfortunate time. You know what would have not caused this issue? Not having a camera on. Improved main storyline quests. Quests in the main storyline have been improved with new task types and quest variants. And we can count proximity nodes as 1, destructible objects for 2, and wave events for 3, with more on the way. Again, alongside one of the things that you see are the perspective on new players complaining about being mob variety is quest variety. Obviously, they are alive to the concerns of these prospective or newer players, and they're wanting to do more to get them involved and give people more reasons to start playing. It seems pretty clear from the wave of changes they've announced here that they're all basically so far focused on both dual leveling and endgame in terms of the Void Gauntlet and the legendary weapon quest, or just leveling content. There's nothing so far that we've seen that is purely endgame content. So I think we can deduce from that Amazon are sort of still prioritizing trying to recapture some of that 900 odd thousand that they initially got at launch, and they've lost something like, I saw a number the other day saying 75%. I don't know whether that's accurate or not, but it would seem to me like these PTR changes are designed to draw some of those players back in, people that might have left because they were sick of fighting one boar, one alligator, and one of those guys that moan when you hit them. As we heard in the PvP developer blog, I think it was the developer blog or a news post, there are new PvP faction missions coming. We've got 3 brand new faction mission types, and almost all PvP missions now reset on death rather than being forfeited, so that's a nice quality of life change. There are no more poach missions, so that there's better directed PvP missions. We've got control points, so that's capturing forts, which is very cool. Intercept, which is killing enemy faction members, also very cool. And war camp loot, which is retrieving hidden plans at an enemy war camp. We don't really know what an enemy war camp is at the moment, but if it's a place where other players are going to be incentivized to congregate, I was like, damn, that's a good word. I'm impressed with myself for using that word. And then I fell over it. Now I just look stupid. Then that could be a lot of fun. I think those 3 new mission types that are directly encouraging actual player versus player combat, coupled with the changes that we saw in the dev blog about PvP changes, are going to really reshape the way in which especially open world PvP happens in this game, and it's going to make it a lot more fun. We've got the new trading post experience. This is going to be, I just had to check that my mic wasn't muted because before I recorded a video and I had the mic muted the whole time. All trading posts have now been linked and are unified. We saw that was coming in a blog post. Now I guess we get a time frame about when it's going to happen. It's on the PTR, so we know that when that rolls out, that's when we're going to see linked trading posts. That is extremely exciting. It was ridiculous that they weren't linked in the first place. Or I shouldn't say ridiculous. It was frustrating that they weren't linked in the first place. So Amazon have fixed that. They are all the major announcements they've made for the PTR at the current moment. But if we go back up to the top here, we can see that they've indicated that there are hundreds of changes and the full release notes will be shared on release day. So that means that there's going to be stuff that we haven't been told about, and I'm hoping some of that is going to be exciting changes to things that have been annoying or causing grievances for the community. I think if I can sum up my initial feelings, it's that it's relatively obvious that Amazon are trying to capture those players that aren't yet level 60 who left the game because they were sick of it. They're trying to get them back on board, and that seems to be their main focus at the moment with this PTR. The weekly bug fixes and stuff, obviously a lot of that is fixing what was wrong with endgame content, but nothing new in the pipeline in the immediate term just yet at least. Still, that doesn't mean that there's not exciting things coming. I'm really excited to try the Void Gauntlet out. For one, additional mob types is exciting because it's sort of starting to get a little bit bland fighting the same mobs all the time. So very exciting changes, and we don't really have any indication about when we might move from public test realm onto live realms, but considering they've only just announced the PTR, I think that's probably a bit enthusiastic of me to be expecting that level of time frame. So we'll just have to wait and see. But if you are someone who's been playing a lot of New World and has been sort of saying this thing or that thing annoys me, or I wish there was this or I wish there was that, then I would really encourage you to download and jump on the PTR. I know that I will be doing it for sure, because the more people that are there trying the content, giving feedback both on the forums and in game, if that's something that they're offering, then the more information and the more statistics that New World have that Amazon have to improve the game. So don't be someone sitting on the sidelines being like, oh, this sucks, I hate that, and then not actually jump in and try and improve the game. If you do want to play it long term, really jump in and have a crack at it. Exciting changes. I'll be on the PTR. I'll be doing PTR videos. You will still have to put up with my bald head, and it's kind of green today because of the green screen behind me. Think of it as a special effect.